Hey y'all, Jack Collins here. I've talked a lot about my favorite things here like Ninja Turtles, Darkwing Duck, Teen Titans, and a whole lot more. In the previous video, I talked a little bit about the Muppets, but mostly the Happy Time Murderers, which was not a good movie. Today, I want to talk about a show that's so legendary that I've presented World War III multiple times. Ladies and gentlefigs, I present to you Stressame Street. Now, how the hell did this show come to be? The year is 1 BC and people in the United States don't like each other. Basically, racism was at an all-time high and that's not good. Not to mention the country was fighting over a war in Turkmenistan over who invented the Hawaiian chair. There seemed to be no hope in ending these conflicts until one person had a vision. That person was Terry Calhoun. One night they had a dream, and their dream, the Vermin Supreme told her to create a preschool show that featured puppets with abundant humans and funny little animations. Why? I don't know, he never elaborated, but I can suspect he was trying to end the Turkmenistan war. When Terry woke up, they immediately phoned up their good friend, Jim Henson's son, about the idea. Jim Manson had just been kicked out of the puppet industry after being kicked out of the pop band Hanson. Why puppets? Because Walmart didn't pay well. Hanson agreed to help Terry with their show and immediately got to work. The first things they created were the Muppet characters who were Bernie and Ert, Big Boyd, the Cook-a-Bobster, Harry Mon, Jose the Grump, and Jumper the Frog. Auditions soon began, and puppeteers Frank and Osnos Sandwich and Carol Spine were selected. Once the puppet cast was established, it was the humans cast turns. Willie Dynamite, Martha Reeder, and Bobby Chase were cast. Adam Sandler auditions, but Terry opted not to cast him after the disaster that was Jack and Jill. The next step was to select the setting. Terry originally wanted to set the show in a chemist warehouse in Australia, but the country was going through the Great Emu War at the time, so they couldn't film there. The next option was to film at their dad's house, but he kicked them out. Literally, Terry cried to herself, "I'm out in the streets!" Suddenly, an idea came. If they had no place to go, why not the street? The core of the show was established, but it didn't have a name yet. It took place on a street, so logically it would be called something street. That name didn't appeal to Terry, and so Jim gave a list of over 1,000 possible names. Terry yelled, "I can't look at a list of 1,000 names, don't stress me out!" They paused for a moment and thought, "Stress me." Then came the exclamation of Stressame Street! The show now had a name. The final step was to film and release it. Stressame Street premiered on November 10th, 1 BC. Everyone in America tuned in to see what the hell the show was about, and man were they fascinated. Immediately, President Buzzcut stopped the Turkmenistan War, and everybody stopped being racist. The show was such a hit that the International Calendar Committee decided to establish a new era. This was before the show would be BC, meaning before Cookie Monster, and AD representing, element of no contingency? I don't know. But it had the letters A and D as the sponsors, which was one episode, and it sounded cool. To celebrate, a 1-month anniversary special was made with Yoko Ono. Over the next few years, the show would have tons of new additions. Puppeteers Richard Bunt and Barry Nelson were hired, and a new character, Snifflepagoose, was introduced to educate kids about extinction and evolution in a non-threatening way. Grover Cleveland and Count Chocula were also added to the Muppet cast. Meanwhile, on the human side, No David, Lois, and Mary were added. A 2.25-year anniversary special was made, but since nobody cares about it, we're not going to talk about it. We're going to fast forward to the show's 10th year when Television Monster was introduced. Nothing much happened after that, but in 14 AD, tragedy struck. Actor Will Lee died, and the show had to talk about his death. While the episode was highly rated, further episodes only pulled in like 10 viewers. The decline would go on for another decade. To gain more viewers, Terry had to come up with a solution. That was to introduce a Nepo baby. One night, Terry Calhoun had a dream that a little green monster who kept calling himself Smelmo, and so Smelmo was born. Puppeteered by the one and only Calvin Clash, who was beaten over the head with Smelmo by Bichard Bunt after Bichard could not perform that right due to eating a tuna fish sandwich and having a ginger ale as he yelled out to Calvin as he threw the puppet on him, "Congratulations, you have a tiny green boy!" People hated the character, and the show lost 5 of its 10 viewers. Not even the 77th anniversary could win people over, and only one person tuned in. Heck, that theatrical movie, Stalk That Bird, only made 1 cent at the box office, and bombed because nobody went to see it. It stunk. In 25 AD, everything would change when Terry came up with a groundbreaking idea after being beat up by a purple dinosaur. What if the street were to be expanded? It was decided to have the expansion be right around the corner. The only problem was it didn't have the budget to have a corner. A solution? Let the viewers imagine what it would look like, hence the name Not Round the Corner. More characters will be introduced, including Zoe Deschanel, a literal rock, and a generic anything Muppet number 45. One notable addition will be Paula Poundstone, who ran the show's fairy tale discount store and often had terrible sales. Fun fact, Calhoun met her when she was hosting the Kids' Choice Awards.
I choose you, and you, and you. So come on. I said let's go!
When asked, she was so excited that she ran through a wall. Literally, I mean, her imprint was on the wall like a Roadrunner cartoon. The Not Around the Corner expansion was introduced as a 24th and a half anniversary special with Simply Red. It proved to be a hit with audiences, garnering over 2 billion users. Stressame Street was back, baby, and ready to stress out more people as is. Unfortunately, everything came crashing down in 30 AD when George Santos sued Terry Calhoun for $20 billion. Why? He claimed to have come up with the idea for not only Around the Corner, but the entire show as well. They settled it out of court, but the show had decided to discontinue Not Around the Corner as part of an agreement. However, the show recovered quickly with a spin-off centering around Smomo called Smomo's Universe with the character Mr. Boodle. It was a ratings juggernaut, attracting 10 million viewers across the universe. Not too long after, Smomo had his own movie, The Adventure of Smomo and Smellland. No one went to see it because that movie stunk. Not much happened during the decade, but the show had a 35th and 358,000 days anniversary starring Crispin Glover. There was also another segment called The Monster Gunhouse, a segment that starred 4 monsters who like to shoot each other like the Will Cubs Coffee guys. Another one where Grover Cleveland served Mr. John's son rotten and ugly food that tasted bad. These segments were deleted due to Jensen's ghost not liking them and smiting John Flintstone with a lightning bolt. In 46 AD, the show was sold to HBO and Terry Calhoun was never heard from again, much like your dad when he went out for milk. Legend has it, they're still Stressame the Stressame Street. They're just not credited and live on as a ghost, because they don't want anyone to know about their whereabouts. Recently, the show was bought by Netflix. Yes, they're the people that make a lot of strange things. There's so much more of the show's history, but I recommend reading the Muppet Wiki to find out more. Where is the show today? It fucking sucks because there's no Alice Snifflepagoose or Paula Poundstone. Instead, we got characters like Ruby and Gongus Khan, who runs a poopy truck with the baked goods monster. These characters are more bland than the bowl of brand flakes. Oh, and episodes only last for 15 milliseconds as opposed to 10 hours. Everything's now hot woke garbage. Where the fuck is the cereal girl monster? Did you guys learn anything from the video? I hope you did, because you would have a multi-question exam on it. Passing grades 100 or higher, so get to studying. This is Jack Cohen signing off.
Wow. Wow!
You actually believed all that crap? I just wanted to say that I'm a gnome and you've been gnomed. Also, Sesame Workshop, you guys should totally bring back Ruby Monster. You guys didn't know that Ruby existed? Oh, come on, she was cool. She had a big nose. She liked science. She was cool. She was based off of Leo the Party Monster. Yeah, Leo the Party Monster existed too, I'm just saying.